Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Chameleon again, and this is my recovery. Yay! Today we're going to go over how to talk to a teen about substance abuse or substance use. Sorry, not abuse. Same thing, but really, it's not. Um, First, though, I got a little warning today to tell you guys because I know this affects every single person that I know, and that is the election results last night. The president that got in there, the last time he was in office, first thing he tried to do was get rid of the Affordable Care Act. And I know my insurance is off of that. My son's insurance is off of that. Um, I don't know about my dad and mom's, but I do know they have prior um, or existing conditions. So that would knock them out of getting insurance. And it looks like they already got the Senate, they got the presidency, and it looks like they're going to get the House too. So hopefully we can win the House. I doubt it, but hopefully we can. I haven't looked at it today because it's just really not good news at all for poor people. So, anyways, regardless of what you believe, whether you're Republican or Democrat, he already stated in the um, debate that he plans on getting rid of it. Because they've already tried 60 times, over 60 sometimes, I think, to try to get rid of it. And the only reason why it stopped last time was because one Republican, or might have been more than one, but I know John McCain was the last guy, the last Republican, that gave a thumbs down and voted no to not get rid of it. Or else it would have been removed in like 2017. So, and we wouldn't have no insurance right now. Yeah, because the first thing that's going to go when they remove that will be all the poor people's insurance will be gone. That's all the every state's health insurance. The poor ones, unless your state has specific laws that helps with that. I know mine sure doesn't. The ones around me sure doesn't. So yeah, and the reason why that's important is because your rehab, um, all the clinics that I've been talking about for Suboxone and Vivitrol, um, all your therapy that I've been talking about, is all 100% paid, except for like your medicine. You'd have to pay like $3 or something like that with Suboxone for medicine. So all of it's 100% paid with your insurance now. And if they get rid of your insurance, I mean, if you're poor, there's no way you're going to pay for it. I mean, I'm just going to be, I ain't going to be around the bush. If you're poor, there's absolutely zero way you're going to pay for it. And this is just, I mean, I'm just saying that because it affects addicts. I just want y'all to know that, be ready for that, because, like I said, that's literally what he did last time. And he's got a bone to pick this time, and I expect it to happen again. So that's my warning to y'all. Now, to get on the topic today of how to talk to your teen about substance use, I have about 3 pages here that was done on childmind.org/article/talk teenager substance use abuse. Wow. Childmind.org/article/talk teenager substance use abuse. Okay. The writers on it is Ray Jacobson. I want to make sure we say all that stuff. And I'm going to try to get the highlights of these anyways. Basically, it says that when you're in adolescence, that teenagers, it's a tricky time for teenagers. They like to push boundaries, right? I mean, my son was a teenager. We barely could talk to each other. We got arguments every single time we talked to each other. I really don't know why. I don't think we ever did find out why. I just think it was just that type of phase that all kids go through. Some of them never get out of it. And I mean, you want to prove yourself to your parents, right? You want to prove that you're just as good as they are, right? You're just as smart as they are. So with that comes pushing the boundaries, and which can lead to dangerous situations. Okay, and when we set clear rules um, about substance use, it's going to help. It's going to help teens with the structure they need to stay safe. Okay. Now let's be realistic. You can't guarantee that your rules won't be broken. I mean, they might be broken. They might not. You know, but the research does show, that kids that have clear rules are less likely to get into serious trouble than those who don't. I mean, it's so even if the rules are broken, teens who parents have clearly outlined what is and isn't acceptable are less likely to run to extremes and more likely to make safer choices. Is what it says on here. Um, so it says you need to have the talk. But for a lot of parents, initiating a potentially difficult conversation is daunting. A few guidelines can help get the ball rolling and make for a smoother, more productive experience for all. Number one is plan to have the talk. Um, Springing a big talk like this is out of the blue to your kid, which unfortunately is what I did. But I talked to him every single day about it. So, um, yeah, planning to have a talk, right? Tell him, hey, I'd like for you to be home at this time, so that way, he don't feel like you're ambushing, like you're, ambushing him, where like this is coming out of, the blue, right? And then so that way they don't get defensive. Um, so give them a heads up, beforehand, and make sure to be clear about what the conversation is going to entail. I mean, like tomorrow night, let's have a talk about drinking and drugs. Like it says, you're not in trouble. I just want to talk about where we stand and hear any concerns you might be having. Well, this shows them here. So, number two is you want to spell out the rules, okay? And you want to clearly spell them out. You want to do the specific circumstances if you break them. I mean, consequences. I'm sorry, the specific consequences of breaking them. Um, you want to avoid ambiguity that lets your teen know where you stand. Avoiding ambiguity that lets your teenager, I'm sorry, to know where you stand. It also shows that kids tend to be. Researcher shows that kids tend to be safer when we set these limits, like I said earlier. um, and for kids who are being pressured to do something they aren't comfortable with, it can make it easier for them if they know they can use their parents as an excuse for saying no. Then it says number three is explain your reasons. Be very clear about your reasons for prohibiting substance use. Teenagers are often ordered to do things without being given a clear reason why. And by explaining yourself, you're inviting them to have a more open adult conversation. The potential consequences of drinking and using drugs are real. Any kind of experimentation is illegal when you're a teenager, and it's dangerous. Be honest and rational. Obviously, some illegal substances are more dangerous than others. Heroin is more perilous than pot, but any substance can be harmful. One beer is intoxicating, but 10 beers could be deadly. And any substance use impairs judgment, and kids are more likely to find themselves in problematic and potentially dangerous situations like driving drunk or having unwanted or risky sexual encounters. It can affect them at school too. If they get caught, it could go on the record, something they won't want when they're applying to colleges. And if they play sports, they could be cut from the team. As far as what this says on here, um, where did I see that at? Sorry. Um, yeah, teenagers are often ordered to do things without being given a clear reason why. That was the God. I hated that growing up. I mean, I don't know what about my son, but I'm a nervous person. I'm super nervous, and I'm so nervous that I can't be around people at all. And or else it like I get so tired. Like right now, I'm exhausted because I had to go to the doctor today. I'm just terribly exhausted, And I was around maybe 10 people. I mean that's crazy. But anyways, when I was a kid, though, my parents would just send me, like in the beginning, they would just send me off with my sister, which she hated me back then, treated me like dirt. And then, now she does it. Now she's not a kid, right? She's not a teenager. No teenager wants a friggin' little kid coming around with them. It's not like I blame her. It's nothing bad about it. I'm just saying she was a teenager. I was a little kid, and she hated that, and I understand it. I would too. I was nowhere not in her age bracket. And I would try to explain that to my mom. My dad worked all the time, but I tried to explain it to my mom, and my mom wouldn't even listen to me. Like she just she wouldn't care at all. When she was back then, it was more back then. Whenever you were kids, they just told you what to do, and you just went and did it. Usually they told you to go outside, and you're outside all day, and that's what you did all day. But the thing, I was fine with that. It was just the problem is that she told me that I had to be with my sister all day. Okay, that was bad. That made my sister not like me. That made my sister not want to obey because she was a teenager. You see what I'm saying? Like that. She never explained why. She never told my sister at all why. She never told me why. You know what I mean? And that's bad. It's extremely bad to do. You want to be um, certain. You want to be sure. You want to tell them. You want to say, hey, um, if you do these drugs, this is what's going to happen. Why? Because this. You see what I'm saying? You want to be straight out and tell them exactly 100% everything that's going to happen and what's going to go happen. Because you want to leave no room for error. You know what I mean? You want to leave no room for them to wiggle out either. And it's just the right thing to do. To be honest with you, it's just the right thing to do. So, all right, number what? 4? Zone 4. It says obey the golden rule. Speak to your kids the way you'd like to be spoken to. Teenagers are accurately sensitive to condescension, and it's important to remember that at the end of the day, they are the ones who will make the final decisions. Treat them like the adults you want them to become. By showing respect, you're modeling good behavior and letting them know you expect them to act responsibly, not just for your sake, but for their own as well. And number 5 says, let them speak. Give kids a chance to express their concerns and feelings. They may have been hoping for a chance to ask questions or check in about something troubling. Opening an equal, oh yeah, Opening an equal, active dialogue will increase the chances that your teen will feel comfortable being honest with you in the future, which is one of the things I just said earlier. Uh, I hated it when my son didn't speak. I aggravated the crap out of me. Whenever I talked to him and tell him to do something, I hated it. Like I just can't, because I didn't know if he understood or not. You know what I mean? Like I said, when I'm so nervous, I have to know 100% all the time with what I'm doing, what everybody's doing around me, or else I get super anxious. I get super anxious about it. So that's with work or anything. So whenever I talk to my son And my son is the worst person in the world that he will not say anything. Like he will not say nothing. And you won't, like I still have like problems talking to him because I will say something to him and he'll just look at me, and I don't know what the hell that means. You know what I mean? I'm like, do you understand what I'm saying? Is it even going through your head? I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what that means, and it's difficult. Like that's difficult for me. So, yeah. I mean, and when they want to talk, please let them talk because you don't want them to shut down like mine did and never talk to you about anything. um, number 6, right? Number 6. The I learned it from you, Dad dilemma. Does parents sometimes feel hypocritical hiding their own experiences? If your daughter asks if you've ever tried drugs, you can choose to keep your experiences private. Not everything in your history needs to be available to your kids, or to share them, but don't reminisce or otherwise glamorize your experiences. You can also explain that as a parent, it's your job to help them avoid things they will regret, and substance use definitely increases the chances of doing something you will regret. That was the number one thing. Literally, I love that it says I learned it from your dad because that's when I was a dad. I was a single dad, so um, that is the way that I try to get through to my son's head. Like, look, do you see the way I am? Do you see how bad my life has become? Do you see how far I've fallen? Do you see how sick I am every single day? Right? Do you see how awful sick I am every day? Do you see the work that I have to put myself through every single day just to put a smile back on my face? You see what I'm saying? I wake up every day sick as a dog. Do you see that? Do you understand that this is because of substance abuse? This is because of me using drugs. You see what I'm saying? Like, I, I bet I said that to him 100, 200 times because I wanted to make sure he knew exactly that this was the truth and this is what it's going to end up like. You know what I mean? If he turned out to be the way I was. And yeah, I bet I said it to him 200 times. So honesty is the best policy. You know what I mean, right? Like that whole saying. Okay, number 7, continual amnesty, conditional amnesty. What we want first and foremost is for kids to be safe. Being open and honest with your kids about drugs encourages them to reciprocate. One way to create safeguards for your team is to have an amnesty policy. In an amnesty situation, your child can call and ask for help without incurring the regular repercussions they may they might have if they try to hide their behavior. Amnesty policies keep kids safe and encourage them to make appropriate choices without letting them off the hook. For example, if your child or their designated driver is drunk at a party and they want to leave, they can call you and ask for a ride or cab fare instead of putting themselves at risk. They'd then be allowed to come home and go to bed without yelling or grounding. In the morning, you and them could have a talk about their drinking and safety. That is a new thing. I mean, when I was growing up, I mean, both parents were always, they're working now, but they were really were home, and we were called turnkey kids. I mean, for a reason. They gave us a key. They were working all the time. We come home, we turn the key, we go inside. We're there all day till we go to bed. They usually might go home at night time. We really were seeing our parents most of the time when I was growing up. So um, it was difficult for us to talk to them about anything, rather less to tell them we messed up. You see what I'm saying? So nowadays, though, um, the dynamics are a lot different. It's a lot different. So you can actually pull this off, and you can pull it off rather easily and well, right? I mean, it's not nothing hard to do. There's no reason why you can't say, listen, if you ever decide to do this, you know what I mean? Like, please, for the love of God, don't get behind a car. You know what I mean? Call me, right? I mean, there's no reason for you to put yourself at the most risk possible of dying. You know what I mean? When you can call me, and when you sober up, we can talk this crap out, right? There's no reason that we need to be at each other's throats, and you should be scared to death at me for this, okay? I want to know, you know what I mean? Now, number 8, an ongoing conversation. Talk about your teens. Talking to your teen about substance abuse should be a process, not a single event. Risk factors or substance use can change and multiply as teenagers weather the trials and pressures of adolescence. And pressures of adolescence. Man, they really messed that up, didn't it? Keep an eye out for changes in your child's mood and demeanor, shifting peer groups, and other signs that it might be time to check in about their safety and your expectations. Make sure you know their conversation is an open-ended one and that it is a two-way street. It says, I'm going to be checking in with you about this sometimes, and if you have any questions or concerns, you can ask me too. Keeping the lines of communication open will help you and your teenager feel engaged and safe during a potentially turbulent time. And that's it. That's everything. So now you actually know a little bit more. I mean, obviously on how to talk to your kid about this. I tried to put everything I can. I mean, it's not like I'm conceited and feel like I was a good dad, because 99% of the time I feel like, just like all the other parents, that all I did was screw up. So um, all I could do is trust what my son tells me and try not to let the dark thoughts win, which most of the time they did. But I do know that, as far as I know, with substance abuse, he's been really good with it. I don't know if he's ever tried it or not. I don't really need to know that. He's an adult now. I don't need to know any of that crap. But I do know that he's not addicted like I am, because I definitely be able to notice that. And he's not. So, I mean, it's a war. I mean, like I said earlier, it's an ongoing thing. So it's a war. It's not just one battle. It's, you want to make sure that they stay safe for years, not just, the one time they get asked it. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day.